The movie starts out by showing an unusual place of living. A baby is then shown, sitting in a custom-made crib, in some room with 2 monitors. The scene then changes to a man in an astronaut suit. He looks to be in space, working with some external features and supposedly audibly interacting with the baby in the crib. One of the monitors then shows something that the baby does not like and she starts crying loudly. Through the sound connection that he has with her, the man gets disturbed by the sound to the point of dropping his tool off into space. He is taken aback by this and stares off into that space. The man then returns from where he was, and the baby sees him enter through the monitor. He takes off his spacesuit and prepares some food for the baby. He is then shown to take care of her for some time, until he puts her to sleep. The man then enters the room with the crib and the monitors. Now it shows 3 monitors, and he is delivering a message through one of them about the work that he recently completed. He then leaves that room and enters another, where he unzips a body bag and briefly looks at the face of a female who seems to be in cryogenic suspension. He zips the bag back and carries her in another area. He then carries another body bag away. 4 people in astronaut suits are then shown to be lying on the floor. The man then throws them out into space. 6 bodies are shown floating down. In a later scene, one of the monitors shows that the cryogenic units are fully deactivated. Meanwhile, the baby cries, and he has to comfort her again. One of the monitors then shows an image of a person standing on the shore of a beach. It glitches, and the man makes a remark about images from Earth. He then says something about viruses chasing us. He also states how he is out of the solar system. The short scene of a happening from Earth is then shown. A dead dog lies in a stream in the woods, and a young girl looks at it. She is then shown lying on leaves. It then switches to a scene on a train. A female is supposedly interviewing a professor. He tells her that radical experiments are taking place in outer space. Death row inmates are selected to be used as guinea pigs. He says that they are not being told the truth about their status in space, that they are not returning, and that their messages now take years to reach Earth. We then see the man in space teaching the baby how to walk. Other people are shown to seemingly occupy rooms alongside him, but no interaction with them is shown. As he handles the baby, more shots of random people are shown. A female on top of a train, several males sleeping on a train, a male in a white jumpsuit in a prison cell, and then the main man himself in a similar jumpsuit within a cell. While that takes place, his voiceover speaks about how inmates on death row were given a choice to serve science. He was one of the inmates. The next scene shows a young girl carving a word into the wall of the space unit. She is doing it with a piece of glass. The man, Monty is his name, then grabs her from behind and brings her to the floor. She cuts him with the glass shard as they wrestle on the floor. He then punches her in the face and blood is shown to exit her nose. His voiceover then says how at that point they have left the solar system 3 years ago. This was an earlier time at the space unit. The female Monty punched, along with him, then visit the doctor on board. The doctor stitches Monty's arm from the wound. In the next scene, Monty and the baby inhabit the space unit's garden area. She feeds him some of the vegetation that grows in there. Several crew members then come to see the doctor. She gives each of them pills to swallow. A female member then comes to her and says that even if a baby were to be born in the space unit, it would die of radiation. The doctor starts to explain herself, but is interrupted by that female, who then walks away. The doctor then enters a special room where she covers some metal phallic object. She sits on top of it and begins to move. A somewhat surreal happening is put on display as she does it. When she is finished, some washing machine descends from above to wash and clean the sitting area that she occupied. Monty then sees her exit that room, and when she leaves, his voiceover says how his choosing chastity and overindulgence has made him stronger. In the garden, Monty and another member discuss several things. When the guy tells Monty about his son, Monty says that his son is either old or dead now. The guy responds by saying how that garden is teaching him to enjoy the present. He would rather not think about the ways things actually are. Monty then tells him that he was raised by his dog. The next scene has the whole space crew standing in some room and staring out into space. It is revealed that they are traveling at 99% of the speed of light. They are then all shown crawling as a form of exercise and jogging nearly in place. When they are done, the doctor supplies them with a pill. Then the crew is shown sitting as they are strapped in. Monty's voiceover reveals that there are 4 more years left for them to reach their destination. The ship would eventually approach a black hole. The doctor then walks the hallway and says loudly how all of them on the ship are a bunch of common criminals and petty thugs. She says how only she is a true criminal. One of the monitors then has a message that says radiation alert. The doctor takes out of some device what looks like a baby and starts screaming in agony. One of the females is put in a body bag and then, in a cold room, another crew member suffers from a stroke. Later at night, one of the male members, Eder, comes up to one of the females as she sleeps and gets on top of her. She wakes up and starts yelling, which makes him assault her, along with the other girl that sleeps near her, as she starts yelling as well. As a third one comes in to see the ruckus, Eder gives her the violent fist too. He then comes back to the first girl and continues taking advantage. Monty comes in and unleashes a flurry of punches on him. which brings Eder to the floor. The second assaulted female then gets out of bed with a shard from underneath her pillow and stabs Eder several times in the face. The blonde female then has to take her off and hold her. The doctor then tends to her in the following scene. On a different night, the doctor walks the hallway and checks on the sleeping crew members. When she gets to the sleeping Monty, she gets on top of him. She starts engaging romantically with him, but he is still asleep, perhaps due to the extra strong pills that she ordered them to take. After she is finished with him, she kneels on the floor and takes his fluids from herself into her hands. She then puts the fluids in a tube and takes it to the female member boys, whom she inserts the fluids into. As the doctor whispers to her about a baby growing inside her, it cuts to an image of outer space, and then a baby is shown lying on a device. Another scene shows Monty laying with another female. He then pushes her away so she can go back to her own bed. While there, she tells him that she knows that he killed his friend over a dog. She saw his records. Then several of them reveal a small space shuttle and one of the female members, Nansen, is then shown in an astronaut suit, ready to pilot it. Boyce then enters the area and says that she is going to the garden, but it seems like that is not where she went. Through the monitor, then, 3 of the crew members watch the female in the astronaut suit about to depart into space. As she rides in the shuttle, they then see that it is not Nansen, but rather Boyce. She sees the distortion of space taking place before her eyes. She then starts bleeding and distorting herself. Another female then finds the wounded body of Nansen. She takes the gardening tool with her, which was used as the weapon against Nansen. She enters a room where the doctor and Monty are in, and starts attacking the doctor with it. But Monty then takes it from her and gives her a dose of the tool. Then over a monitor, the doctor seemingly speaks to Monty. She says that the baby is his daughter, that she is born of his genes. She also says that the baby is perfection, and then she departs into space without a space suit. Monty arrives near that door and becomes unstable. He beats himself up and spits in frustration. The floating body of the doctor is shown in space. Monty walks the hallway then with crew member T. Kimmy. He tells Monty that he took this mission so he can turn his shame into glory. But he then said that his wife said that his idea of glory was BS. They then enter the garden, where T. Kimmy takes off his shoes and lies down in the dirt. He is then shown to be buried by it. Monty then comes to see his daughter in the device. He and his daughter are the only people left on the ship. Many years pass, and his daughter Willow grows up. They find another ship in space and Monty tells her how there could be other people on that ship. But Willow doesn't think much of it. Monty becomes stupefied by her lack of interest and says that those new people might be able to help them. She then responds by saying that they don't need help. But eventually, Monty ends up investigating anyway. He breaks into the new ship and sees a dog on board. Through the monitor, Willow is able to see what Monty sees, due to some camera attached to him. They then see many dogs on the ship, but no people. When Monty returns from that ship, his daughter states how he should have taken one of the puppies to their ship. Some other time, Monty finds Willow praying. He asks her if she knows which god to pray to. She tells him that she's doing it because she wants to know how the people who pray feel. She then asks him if she looks like her mother, and her father says that she doesn't. She says if her hair or her eyes are of hers, and he still says no. Father and daughter then put on space suits and use the small shuttle to fly off into space. The interior of the ship is shown, empty and lifeless, and who knows what will happen to it. They go into the area of the black hole and Monty asks his daughter Willow if she is ready. She says that she is, and the golden light of the black hole consumes them. Whatever happens, in there happened to no one before them.